So, welcome everybody to the opening of our exhibition. And it was said here in this short video, see you there. I'm very happy to see you here tonight. Many students, many colleagues, many friends. I'm very pleased, and we also have a camera set up here because I would like to welcome, of course, also our guests who were going on a fantastic journey in the last couple of years. We started 4 years ago in 2017, actually also with the help of Marcello Modica, who just arrived, the project manager of this Alpine Space research project. We started together on a journey, and actually this exhibition was supposed to happen in March this year, to end the journey with a big symposium. With all our guests from abroad being with us here, discussing with us and enjoying the end of this research project. But for obvious reason, we had to postpone this exhibition, and we thought it's going to be safe to make it in December 2021. Now we're again here, and we're really missing our friends from Slovenia, from Italy, from Austria, from France, who with us together did this project. So I'm very happy that we have the opportunity now to open the exhibition under these difficult circumstances, but nevertheless it happens, and I'm very happy about this. What are you going to see? Well, I have to explain a little bit the story behind this exhibition for you to understand where all these information and all these plans were coming from. What you see here is actually the result of, as I said, 3 years working together with scientists from foreign countries, but also 3 years of heavy and really fruitful cooperation with our students. And I was very pleased to be supported by an excellent team at my chair for landscape architecture and transformation, who's also with me tonight, because this team worked a lot in the last couple of days. We started on Saturday to set up the exhibition, but the preparation took a lot more time. I will give you a few information a little bit later on that. So what you see, as I said, is a combination of research results, which are presented here in the central desk, where all the 4 communities are represented that we've been working with in the last couple of years. And you see a selection of projects on the wall, because as we saw in the video, we did more than 30 projects in the last 3 years on the transformation of industrial landscapes. For those of you who have no idea what landscape architecture is all about, you would think that landscape architects and garden architects are responsible for beautiful gardens, for nice parks, green spaces, and so on. But as you all know, the world has changed dramatically, and we're confronted with a lot of problems that cannot be solved any longer with garden design and park design, but we have to get involved in really severe transformation of our cultural landscapes. And I'm convinced that young landscape architects, and I'm very happy to see many of these young landscape architects here, I'm convinced that you guys are getting ready, and you have to get ready to really solve some more complex problems. We're confronted with climate change. We're confronted with issues like migration. We're confronted with issues like, social upheavals. We have to change the life in our cities. We have to think about our economies and so on. And all this is really dealt with in landscape architecture these days, because if you consider landscape as a complex living system, then landscape architects have to take care of this living system, make sure that it's fit for the future. I personally started my chair for landscape architecture, and at that time it was called industrial landscapes, more than 10 years ago, because we focused a little bit in our work on the question, how can we transform former industrial landscapes into living environments of good quality? Because our society is an industrial society, it still is actually, and we have to deal with the question of derelict sites which need to be included into the landscape and into our society. 3 years ago, when Marcello Modica and we sat together, and he was interested in doing a PhD on the transformation of industrial sites in the Alps, we thought it might be a good idea to join forces with other experts. So we joined together with colleagues from the University in Verona, from the University Politecnico di Milano, from University in Vienna, from University in Austria, in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. And we had regional partners in France, in Italy, in Slovenia, and in Austria. And our idea was, let's focus a little bit more on the question how to transform former industrial sites in the Alps. Because we have a lot of experience in transforming industrial landscapes in regions like the Ruhrgebiet in Germany. But the Ruhrgebiet has 5 million inhabitants and is a very dense urbanized landscape, a rather flat landscape, as you know. And this is something completely different compared to the Alps. In the Alps, with its topography, we have about 14 million people living on 200,000 square kilometers of landscape. But this is a rather, let's say, peripheral landscape. And the Alps were conquered by industrialization also beginning in the 16th century already. And the Alps were also conquered by heavy industries a couple of decades ago and went through very heavy crises. The difference between the Ruhrgebiet and the Alpine landscape is that in the Alpine range, you normally have small to middle communities who are overburdened with the question what to do with derelict steel factories, for example, cement factories, aluminum factories, and so on. These are huge machines that are out of work suddenly because of structural changes globally, worldwide. And now small communities have to deal with these big issues. And there is no strategy for solving these issues. And this is the reason why we went into this project and said, let's find a way to cooperate with the regions and with our partners in research. Let's try to find out how to help these communities in the Alpine range to transform their industrial sites into something better for the future. What's really interesting is the fact that the industries always settled at key points in the landscape. They are sitting in areas where you have super access to water, good transformation access. They're sitting in valleys and they're sort of, they're like a spider in a cobweb, so to say, and they concentrate all kinds of energies in order to produce something. And when this key point is not working any longer, it's a big challenge and a big opportunity at the same time. And this is what we were dealing with. We traveled in the last 3 years to all these 4 sites, to La Jonquière-la-Bessée in France, to Držić in Slovenia. Sorry for the mispronunciation to my friends in Slovenia. I always mispronounce Držić. We also went to Eisenerz in Austria. And last not least, to Borgo San Dalmazzo in the Piemonte region. And what was really fascinating for me was the fact that we tried to, or we were able to bring our students with us and work with the students on these sites and develop some plans for the future. Not to find the best solution, but to produce some visions that we could discuss with the people in these different areas. And it was really fascinating to see how many experts from different disciplines were sitting together, discussing the projects of the students, and by discussing with each other, beginning to establish a quality and a, let's say, intensity of communication that has not been there before. So the students' projects were very important to open the horizon for new solutions, but they were also very important for what we call the test design projects. Test design means we're not going directly into the transformation of the site, but we're beginning to establish, first of all, a communication culture to talk about these projects in a different way. Fabian Konopka is one of the students who was with us in Borgo San Dalmazzo and who was also really gathering some experience as a student, what it means to be confronted with the public, with non-governmental organizations, with experts in regional planning and so on. So that was quite an experience also for them. And after these discussions, we sort of kind of synthesized some strategies for the transformation of these industrial sites. So our friends, for example, in Slovenia from the University of Ljubljana, they produced an assessment tool, which you will find here on the desk, a tool for the communities to decide how to deal with the transformation process. You will also find here on the central desk our project handbook that is summarizing the results of our research project. And you will find the short portraits of the different sites. So feel free to browse through and read these documents. If you need some gloves for protection, we have a lot of gloves with us. If you need the gloves to open your glass of beer and drink something, you can also use the gloves for this, for this purpose. That's absolutely no problem. So the central block here presents the results of the research project. And in these drawers here, you'll find a lot of additional information, photographs, impressions from the site to give you a bit of more information about these industrial landscapes. Around the wall, you see a selection of students' projects from different sites, not only from the sites that we've been dealing with in this Alpine Space project, but also with other projects. I have to thank, of course, number one, the Interreg Alpine Space program for sponsoring us. We were very pleased and very happy to have almost 2 million euros for setting up this project. That was quite a substantial help that we got, and a lot of background support that we were profiting from. And I would also like to thank, of course, my own university, because it was great to have the support by the TU Munich to set up also this exhibition and to have the opportunity to work on such a project. That was really great. Without them, the financial part would have been very, very difficult. But the immediate thanks goes, of course, to the students who worked on the project, and last but not least, my team, because we've been discussing quite a while, quite frankly, how to set up an exhibition. We thought it would be a little bit boring if we just put plans on the wall and have people walk around plans and that's it. And we were trying, I don't know if we succeeded with it, but we're pretty happy with it, quite frankly, to create a bit of an atmosphere, of an alpine atmosphere, by building a piece of landscape that we presented here in the front of the wall. And you can see in the background the industrial images, and we hope that these two images will kind of come together and create a bit of an atmosphere. But it's impossible. Actually, it would be a lot more fun to be with you right now somewhere up there in the Alpine Mountains, somewhere where you feel the power of this landscape and where you can also feel the power of the industrial settlements and see how these two forces are kind of working with each other, but also fighting against each other. So we try to at least create a little bit of an atmosphere like this, and I hope you'll enjoy this. I would like to thank very much, as I said, not only the students who worked with us on the projects, and some students who are supporting us with this exhibition. We had a lot of help from students. I'm very proud of our landscape architecture students, because they're one of the most engaged students that I ever had the pleasure to work with. I cannot name everybody because I will probably miss someone, but generally Sophie and Frida were very pleased to help us. Leah was excellent with her background, with her professional background. Alexis, guest student from Texas, USA, I don't know, but she came in and she helped spontaneously. Many other of you guys were helping. Leah is here today, Clara is here today, so the students are really helping us a lot. Also, big thanks go to Bernhard Schöner, who's standing there in the corner. He's the head of our model workshop, and he is responsible for all the hardware that was produced here. You can't imagine how much work it was to set it all up, to get it all done, to produce it. Bernhard, thank you very much for your patience and for your energy in this project. Without you, the mountains would not be there, so we needed your help and your support. Thank you. And of course, I have a wonderful team at my chair with me, starting, of course, with the secretary who's in the background, trying to solve everything, but also Marcello Modica, who successfully defended his PhD on the transformation of alpine landscapes. Thanks a lot for your support during all these years, and also in the awakening of this exhibition. That was really good. And of course, the core team, Nicole Meyer, who was taking a lot of care to really arrange everything neatly on these tables, discussing how can we set up and make it look better, and so on and so forth. I would also like to thank Martin Augenstein, who's standing behind the camera, who is always really helping to make things get better. Adonia Kukuvelu is not with us tonight because she's unfortunately sick, so she will see the exhibition a little bit later. She did also a great job in setting up this exhibition and helping us to discuss these different issues. We had help from students from abroad and guest visitors who were building the projects with us. And last but not least, I would like to thank Lynn Henjes, because you did an enormous job in the last couple of months to create this project. You were sort of responsible for keeping all things working together. You kept very calm all the time and working very concentrated on all the different issues. So thanks a lot also for you, especially because you two, the girl power here, the women power was very strong. Nicole and Lynn did a lot of intensive work. And Bernhard was pushed permanently by these two women to really go faster. Thanks a lot for this excellent performance. Yeah, please. Thanks. All right. What else to say? I'm missing our colleagues from abroad. Would be fantastic to have you guys here amongst us. But maybe we'll have a chance to see the exhibition in one or the other place. It depends on how things will work out in the future. But for now, I wish you a joyful evening here with masks. It's a little bit like a masquerade that we are celebrating here. There's something to drink, so please feel free to get something to drink. Please use the gloves. And I hope you'll enjoy the videos that you will see here on the screen. We will have one video up here on this screen with sound because we couldn't have all the sounds parallel being presented for obvious reasons. And we don't have any headphones for obvious reasons. So this is all for security reasons. And once again, great to have you here. Also, thanks my colleague Johannes Kollmann is here. He was also one of the partners here at the TU Munich who with his ecology team supported us in this project. Nice to see you. A very special welcome. And please enjoy the evening and get into discussion. Let yourself get inspired. And I'm hoping, and this is going also back to the partners abroad, but also to the students here. I'm hoping that this is not the end of a journey, but this is just a short stopover in a journey, trying to solve some of the most difficult problems in our cultural landscapes concerning industrial conversion and transformation. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening, enjoy the company, and have a nice evening. Thanks. Any questions? While we're here, any very urgent questions? Then please kill the beer.
One question, would you do it again?
Would I do it again? Good question. We are actually about to do it again with a smaller group of colleagues, and it's a challenging journey. It's different cultures, it's different cultures of thinking, different languages, different approaches. So it's really a very, very challenging issue. Marcello Modica can probably talk about this a lot more, so ask him because he was the project manager trying to make everything work together. And Europe is a fantastic institution, but also a very challenging enterprise. Sometimes, to be honest, during this project, I was wondering that the European Union is working so well because there's so many difficulties to overcome, different planning rules and different languages that I said. But projects like this are excellent for really learning a lot about each other. So yes, I would do it again. Thanks. Good. Let's go.